Businesses need capital to grow. Most business owners look to local banks to get their funding, but a lot of the time this doesn't work. Banks have guidelines and strategies in place to help them operate more efficiently. But these strategies and guidelines tend to only make the process harder for business owners to secure the funding that they need. A good commercial lending specialist can help business owners find alternative solutions to local bank lending. In Deal Talk, we work through real life funding scenarios, loan solutions, and positive results that have helped American businesses flourish. Hey, well, good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning. Hey, talking about a few deals that we've wrote about in our book called Yes. If you'd like to get a copy of it, reach out to us. We'll be glad to send you one. And this morning, I want to talk to you about a deal that came to us early on in our careers. And I'm going to give you the client's name. It's Karen and Edward Hyde. They own Legacy Nissan in London, Kentucky. And if you have any automobile needs, let me put a plug in for them. They are a wonderful group to buy from. So let me tell you a little bit about how I met them. There was a guy that I knew down in Texas that was in the warranty sales, and he introduced me to Karen and Edward Hyde. I was living here in Nashville, Tennessee, where our corporate office is now. And so I drove over to London. I met with Karen and Edward Hyde and got to know them a little bit. What they had been trying to do is they had a ton of assets, and they were trying to take some of the asset that they had in their real estate and put it back into operating capital in their company. If you know anything about the automobile business, you're going to know that cash is king. I know in a lot of businesses, cash is king, but especially in the automotive industry, cash is king. And you need that operating capital to make more money. It just goes hand in hand. If you've got liquidity and operating capital, then you can sell more cars. You make more money. That's just what it's about. So Edward had a ton of equity in their real estate, and they were looking to refinance their real estate and take some of that equity out and put it back into the operating side of their company. Many companies want to do this. And as a commercial loan broker, those are businesses and deals that you really want to look for, because you can really make a difference in a small business owner's life if you can help them get the equity out of the real estate that they have and be able to put it back into their operating account. So I want to qualify this to say that now, today, 8 years later, Karen and Edward Hyde have become very, very personal and good friends of mine. And so it's kind of hard to, when they call and they need something, we just jump right in and help them, because we've been friends. Not only are we business acquaintances, but we've become very, very good friends. So and we're doing a couple interesting deals together now. So I really appreciate them and love them a lot. But I want to tell you about the deal. So he has a Nissan franchise at the time that I met him, and he had mortgaged everything about 15 years prior to this in getting the Nissan store open. And he and Karen are a true American success story of how they built their business. When he got his Nissan franchise, he had to have so many dollars in the bank, and I'm not telling anything that he wouldn't tell you. And so to close the loan with Nissan, he had to have X number of dollars in the bank. So he did. He borrowed money from friends and family and everybody and had that money sitting in the bank when he opened. And then the day after he closed, he paid all that money back and had about $3,000 left in the bank with a new Nissan franchise. And he made it. That's a true American success story. They pulled themselves up. They work in the store every day, and they are unbelievable to do business with. So if you're looking for an automobile, I'd tell you to call them. If you're looking for service in that area, I'd tell you go see them, because they're just great people. So what they were trying to do at this point in time is they wanted to refinance their real estate that the Nissan store was in. A couple of things were an issue, though. One is it's on what they call a land lease. So he leased the dirt and built the building. And so some lenders are a little afraid of land leases. I don't know why, because we were able to get a 50-year land lease, and the loan that we did for him is based on a 25-year AM. So that shouldn't have been an issue, but it was. We were able to work with Edward and Karen. We refinanced their real estate. We actually lowered the debt service on the property, and we put $1 million cash liquidity back in their business. What this allowed them to do up until that time, that very next year after we put the $1 million back in their business, was their most profitable year they had had to that point. Since then, they've broken all those records. So I got this relationship from a friend of mine down in Texas. Then I built the relationship with Edward and Karen to where we've stayed, really close and really good friends. I call him and bounce ideas and thoughts off him and Karen. I've called Karen about, some real estate there in the area where they live in. So it's a give and a take relationship. And those are the kind of relationships I really value and I really treasure, because it's not just a business transaction. It's getting to know someone and becoming friends with them and pouring into their life, and they're pouring into my life. And it's pretty neat. Edward is a pilot, and I've flown with him several times, and I just enjoy the time that we get to spend together. So it's kind of a neat deal. Since that transaction and getting to know them, Edward and Karen now have 4 franchises instead of just one. So they've exponentially grown their business because of that first transaction that we did. And then we've helped him on some of the other transactions that he's done. And he continues to be a mover and a shaker in the automobile industry. So it's a treasure to have them as a client. And it's interesting that deal came to me as a referral, which I believe is your best source of business. And then we built a relationship to where he and I have stayed friends, and he and Karen and I have all stayed friends, and look forward to when we get to see each other and do business together. So as a commercial loan broker, those are the relationships that you're looking for. It's not just your lender relationships that are important. Your relationships with your clients are extremely important, because Edwards also sent me business. He sent me other dealers that needed my help, and some we were able to help, some we weren't able to help. So I think that's important, that it's a give and take in the relationship industry that we're in. People say, well, you're a commercial loan broker, you just process loans. No, I'm in the people business. I process dreams for people and help them grow and expand their businesses. Hey, it's Deal Talk with Terry Luker. I appreciate your time today. Have a great day.